What is up, everyone? So today is not a feeding day. I was just cleaning out George's house, changing his water tub, his water dish. And he decided he wanted to come out and do some free roaming. So he's just been chilling, just kind of walking around, meandering around in the area here in front of his enclosure. He comes out for a little bit, then he climbs back up this big driftwood thing and goes back into his house, and then decides he wants to climb out again and investigate more. Huh, you having fun, aren't you? Are you having fun? And of course, I'm like right here by him or just a few steps away, so he can't get his little butt into trouble. Huh, yeah. You like to get into trouble, don't you? Don't you? But Hughie stays within the living room here. Hughie stays pretty close to his enclosure, actually. Sometimes he'll walk out to the front patio, but that's just right over yonder. Sometimes he'll go as far as the kitchen, but he kind of gets to the same spot and then is kind of unsure of himself. So then he turns around and heads back this way. Maybe while he's in here for a second, I can come over here real quick. And of course, he's on the climb out now. You turd. You turd. He'll be all right. I'm still just a few steps away. So yesterday, I'm going to give a huge shout out to my man Skylar. Peach Throat Passion, Hail the Scales. He's helping me with this mansion for Georgia. Oh, okay, he's on the ledge. He'd be going back into his house. Yep. All right. I've got a minute or two. So he came over again yesterday for the afternoon, and we got a bunch of work done on the inside of this. I think I mentioned before, he had already built the bottom portion of the water feature. So most of this was already spray foamed. I did the dry lock, and then he did more spray foam on top. I still got to do another couple layers of the dry lock, and he did a bunch more spray foam along the bottom, and then you'll have to forgive me, I don't remember what the hell you stuck on the walls here. Some kind of concrete, something or another, to cover up the mess that was already on this wall here. So I'm super stoked that that got covered up, and it looks pretty freaking fantastic. Looks like a stone wall now. So that's got to cure for a couple days, and then you can dry lock that. That's probably going to be the basking shelf, and then we got this little shelf here. And then we'll have something else. We're gonna I got a bunch of big branches and sticks and all kinds of fun stuff that we're gonna put in here, and then he can go from shelf to shelf, over to some branches, and then down into the water feature. So there's the tub. Obviously it's gonna have a drainage system on it, and that will, voila, go out of that hole with a 3-inch flat hose, and then I can just go right out either my back door or front door, depending on where I decide to put this beast of an enclosure. It's 8x4x4. So when that gets done, it's going to be a pretty freaking fantastic house for Georgia. So we'll be doing little videos here and there of the progress. Now I guess they have a lizard to find. Oh, Georgia, where'd you go? There you are. He never goes too far. Whoop, don't knock this over. It'll fall on your head. So yeah, super stoked because even though like me and Skylar were talking about, sometimes it's easier to socialize and train / tame lizards when they're in a smaller enclosure. And like I was saying, but ultimately it's really up to, the lizard or whatever critter you have. It's up to them whether or not they want to interact with you. You gonna jump to me? What are you doing? But I think, us as keepers, it's also up to us to make them feel confident in order for them to want to interact with us. And it's not about forcing them to do anything that they don't want to do. I've always let him decide if he wants to come out, decide if he wants to come up to me. He makes the rules, I don't. I'm just here to make sure he has a good life, gets fed, has all the stuff that he needs. Make sure he doesn't get himself into trouble. But it's just, it's pretty much up to us to give these guys the confidence and so they can be 100% sure of themselves on whether or not it's a good idea for them to interact with us. Isn't that right? You can see I haven't even done anything to really interact with him at the moment, but he was coming up toward me and flicking his tongue on me, and he knows that I'm here, and he knows I'm his safe spot. He knows he can kind of climb around and free roam, and we can tell by. That's one of the ways that you can tell that they're confident when they're out and free roaming is when they're walking and their tail is completely straight like that. But when they kind of have it curled or they totally curl the whole thing up, oh, thanks, great. Poop on the floor, wonderful. When they curl their tail up, that means that they're, scared or worried or unsure. And then you can tell how he's always kind of looking behind him to check to make sure that I'm still right here and that the coast is clear and nothing's going to get him. The only thing is that I don't like him getting behind Joanna Savannah's old enclosure. So I try to... Is that a moth? I just try to make sure that he's not going to get behind the enclosure, but other than that, well, I was only going to make this a few minutes, but it's turning into a 10-minute video. Come on, Georgia, where are we going? Where are we going? We're going back to your house. Come on. Come on, Goofy. Georgia, Georgia. Come on. And I've always had, like little sounds, little cues that he knows that he's picked up on, and that's kind of another way to train these guys. What are you doing, silly? Come on. So I kind of want to go back in my house right now. What are you doing? My birthday is tomorrow, and my mom sent me this for an early birthday gift. Pretty excited about it. Got to get it out of the box still and check it out. Because up until now, I've always just had to hold my phone, so that will eliminate that nonsense. So there he goes. Climbs back up on the driftwood to get back into his house. Back up there to get back under the heat to warm back up. And there we go. Peach throat free roaming 101. There you go, guys. Get a shot of this long, beautiful blue tail. Although I am jealous of a couple other peach throats out there. Their tails are super, super blue. His is blue, but not as blue as some of the other ones. You're still pretty, though. You're still pretty. You're a pretty boy. You're a pretty boy. Are you a pretty boy? All right, guys. We'll catch you next time.